Hey everyone, today I'll be reviewing the RF Burevestnik, which is currently the newest Plan in the game. As usual, we'll go over its stats, offense and defensive capabilities, usage tips, and at the end, I'll share my final opinion on the ship. In terms of specifications, the ship has slightly better durability than the pan-spatial Argonas, but significantly less than the RF Bartini, which isn't ideal, as its durability is on the same level as that of a frigate, which generally has weaker durability compared to destroyers, cruisers, and other larger ships. In terms of speed, this ship is incredibly fast, as expected from an Plan. To give a comparison, it's a bit faster than the Argonas. As for maneuverability, it's the same as the Argonas according to its specifications, but once in battle, its actual maneuverability is worse than the Argonas, though not as bad as Bartini. In terms of visibility, it's quite low by destroyer standards. I initially thought its visibility would be worse, considering it doesn't have stealth, and I expected it to have a high movement penalty due to its speed. But I was wrong, as its visibility is equal to, or even better than that of some Tier 3 destroyers, even when the movement penalty is taken into account. However, this low visibility comes at a price, as its view range is extremely poor. It's so low that even by destroyer or cruiser standards, it's still considered terrible. Due to this, you can't fully take advantage of its low visibility when attacking, as its poor view range forces it to move closer to detect targets. The Argonas faces a similar issue, as it also has low visibility paired with limited view range. So it's a drawback you can't avoid, even if you buy the more expensive version, at least for now. Firepower-wise, it's quite good, mainly because of its missile launchers, as it has 6 of them, which is quite a lot. On top of that, they're all customizable, so if you equip it entirely with nuclear missiles, this ship will certainly deal massive damage. Alongside the missiles are the grenade launchers. They're the only other offensive weapons on the ship, and it carries a decent number of them. These grenade launchers are locked onto the ship, but there's nothing you should worry about, as the one it uses is a variant of the RBU 2500, which is arguably one of the best grenade launchers in the game. The variant retains most of the original's characteristics, but is more powerful and has the accuracy the original lost due to the nerf. With all of its offensive weapons, the ship can deal good amount of damage. Take a look at its burst damage output compared to other ships. As you guys saw, its burst damage output is significantly higher than Argonas and Loren, but lower than Srivijaya. While it may have good firepower, keep in mind that it isn't very efficient at delivering it to the target, since the ship mainly uses missiles, which can be intercepted or flared. In terms of anti-submarine capability, the grenade launcher it uses retains most of the characteristics of the original RBU 2500, like I said earlier, and one of those characteristics is its ability to engage submarines and torpedoes. Considering the grenade launcher's attributes, how many are equipped, and that it's the ship's only other weapon aside from the missile, the ship can perform decently in anti-submarine operations. You do have the option to use anti-submarine missiles to further improve its anti-submarine capability, since it has plenty of missile launchers. However, keep in mind that doing so may reduce its effectiveness against surface ships. In terms of anti-air capability, it only has one air defense, and it's locked onto the ship, so naturally it performs poorly compared to the anti-air capability of other ships. When using this ship, you shouldn't charge straight at the enemy or aimlessly roam the map waiting for targets to appear. Many players I've encountered do one of these things and either get taken out early, have little impact on the enemy team, or both. To use this ship properly, use it like it's a frigate. Frigates typically serve in support or defensive roles because they lack the durability to effectively perform offensive duties. Since this ship shares that limitation, it makes sense to use it in a similar way. If you do, you'll not only survive longer in battle, but also contribute more to your team. If you find the idea of supporting teammates by staying close and waiting for them to engage boring, consider using the flanking strategy instead. In case you guys don't know, flanking involves attacking opponents from the side or behind. This tactic can catch enemies off guard and force them to abandon their position and relocate, which could make them vulnerable to your teammates. This ship is the best for executing that strategy thanks to its speed, which allows it to reach certain areas of a map much faster than most other ships in the game. If you can execute it properly, this ship can become a serious threat in the match. However, it poses such a danger that players using aircraft carriers will likely make it their top priority target. Considering its low durability, and the fact that its anti-air capability is nearly non-existent, this ship would be an easy target for aircraft carriers. Because of this, I don't recommend using this tactic when there's an aircraft carrier on the enemy team. Although the ship has a smoke consumable that can prevent aircraft from launching a barrage of missiles at you, players will likely wait for the smoke to clear. After all, you're their top priority target. On top of that, other players might recognize the threat this ship poses and target it with their destroyers or cruisers, making it even harder for you to execute the strategy. As for the ship's effective combat range, it's capable of fighting in mid and long-range battles, while close-range combat should be avoided. If you have to fight at close range or are forced into it, make sure you have a teammate to back you up. If you don't, use nearby obstacles for cover as much as possible. Engaging at close range is very risky due to the ship's poor durability. Enemies can easily deal heavy damage to the ship and take it down, especially if their firepower relies on cannons or grenade launchers, since the smoke consumable can't block those weapons the way it does with missiles. Speaking of smoke consumables, it's best to always have it whenever you use this ship. As I mentioned earlier, aircraft carriers are very likely to target you. Staying with your teammates doesn't prevent them from targeting you. It simply makes it more difficult for the carrier to inflict damage due to the protection provided by allied air defenses. If they keep attacking you, which they likely will, your HP will eventually drop to a dangerous level, and you'll end up using most of your basic consumables. However, having a smoke consumable can help delay their attacks and allow you to conserve those consumables. Here's my build for RF Burevestnik, in case you guys are interested. It's kind of a nuclear bait build, but not really, because BrahMos is the primary damage dealer, while the nuclear missile acts more like a secondary weapon. While I could have used a pure nuclear bait build, I didn't go with it because I didn't like it. It's fine for messing around, but when it comes to serious matches, it just doesn't work for me. Personally, I'd go for a missile spam build instead, something like full Atmica or DF-100. Here are the advantages and disadvantages of the ship. Overall, I can't confidently say this is a good or bad ship, as its drawbacks can be quite challenging to manage. I believe many players won't enjoy using it for that reason, especially if it's their first Acrano plan. So I also can't say it's truly worth getting. However, what I can confidently say is that it's a fun ship, if you're able to work around its weaknesses. If you're willing to put in the time and effort to master it, it can be worth it. But if not, then it's probably not for you. Now, I'll leave you guys a video of the gameplay of the ship for you guys to see how it performs in battle, and that'll be it for today's video. Hopefully you guys like it, and if you all did, please leave a like and subscribe to support me. Thank you so much for watching.
5